Hi, thanks for joining me today. It is Tuesday, January 5th. I've got a fun story for you today because we need some fun, right? We need a little levity in our lives. But first, I want to tell you a little story about myself when I was a wee little Tom, flame on. And I don't know, I was maybe six or so. This story is 100% real. Now, times were different then, and I wanted to be a fireman when I grew up. And so for my birthday, my dad bought me a hand axe, a little axe. It was a small one, but for me it was full size because, I'm about that tall. Anyway, one day my dad came home from work and he was really upset. He called me out into the living room and he said, "Son, Tommy, little Tommy." Actually, he called me Tomas. Tomas, did you chop down my tree? And I looked at my dad in the eye and I said, "Dad, I cannot tell a lie. I did chop down the cherry tree." And my dad gave me a big hug and he told me that my honesty was worth 1,000 cherry trees. Now that is a story from my own life. It is 100% real, and it is original to me. But it's a nice morality tale, and you can share this with your kids. I think it's a good morality tale. But let's get into what's going on with Kamala Harris, as she seems to have been telling some stories that might not have been her own, okay? But first, I want to remind you to hit that like button. Yesterday, I did ask for 100 likes, and as of the recording, we're at 134. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. That's how you can help my channel grow. Hit the like button, share the video with someone else. And at the very least, you should hit the like button for this thumbnail. Look at this thumbnail. This is great. I always have fun making thumbnails with Kamala Harris for whatever reason. On BitChute, my #1 video was when I photoshopped her into a pool. I think it was Taylor Swift. And it was Kamala drunk, and that's my #1 video over on BitChute. And I think the thumbnail had something to do with that. But anyway, thanks for hitting the thumbnail. Let's get into this story. Kamala Harris tells a touching story about Fweedom. This was in Elle magazine, and some people have noticed, I guess everybody in the media has noticed, that this story is a little familiar. So I just want to read it to you. It should take maybe 30 seconds. Kamala Harris in this puff piece by Elle magazine. Kamala Harris is our new Vice President-elect, the woman who will become Vice President on the fight for justice and freedom she's been waging since birth. Senator Kamala Harris started her life's work young. She laughs from her gut, the way you would with a family, as she remembered being wheeled through an Oakland, California civil rights march in a stroller with no straps with her parents and her uncle. At some point, she fell from the stroller. Few safety regulations existed for children's equipment back then, and the adults caught up in the rapture of the protest just kept on marching. Good parents. By the time they noticed little Kamala was gone and doubled back, she was understandably upset. My mother tells this story about how I'm fussing, Harris says, and she's like, "Baby, what do you want? What do you need?" And I just looked up at her and I said, "Fweedom."
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
Not-
Yeah, that's the story. But it's very similar to another story, and that was from someone by the initials MLK. Maybe you've heard of him. This was from Playboy magazine in 1965. They used to do interviews back then. I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little black girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking in a demonstration with her mother. "What do you want?" the policeman asked her gruffly, and the little girl looked him straight in the eye and answered, "Fweedom." She couldn't even pronounce it, but she knew. It was beautiful. Many times when I have been in sorely trying situations, the memory of that little one has come into my mind and has buoyed me. So that is the story from MLK. The exact same story. How did he know? And he was able to go to the future and copy it from Kamala Harris and come back and tell it in a more eloquent way back in 1965. I don't know. Strange times, I guess. But that's what happened. But this does not shock me at all. A little bit about me. I, like Kamala Harris, was originally from the Bay Area. And I was there, like Kamala, until about 12 years old. And my family, my entire family, moved to New Mexico. And at the same time in her life, Kamala's parents split, and she went with her mom and lived in Montreal, Canada. Now, what's funny is if anybody asks me where I'm from, like I might say where I was born, but I don't even remember that, right? Because it was so short amount of time. But I always say that I'm from New Mexico because that's where I was in middle school. That's where I was in high school. That was the important part of my youth. But not Kamala. No. Kamala doesn't talk about her middle school and her high school being in Canada, in Montreal, Canada, with her non-black mother. She doesn't talk about that. All the stories go back to Oakland for whatever reason, because that's part of her origin story, if you will. She's the tough little African-American girl, little black girl from Oakland. That's what she relies on when she campaigns. And she never talks about her time in Canada, which arguably is, where she's really from. Now, it's interesting, this made-up story that she told about saying Fweedom didn't happen. And I don't know about you, but I can barely remember anything that happened when I was a toddler. Just vague pictures. That's about it. But like 8th grade, 9th grade, I can remember all kinds of stuff from that. But Kamala Harris? No. Even in her own book, which I believe I was the only person to ever do a video review of her stupid autobiography, link in the description, she spent less than a page about her time in Canada. That's how little she will talk about it. In her own autobiography, she spent less than 1 page talking about all of middle school and all of high school. It's interesting. It's interesting. I guess we all choose what's important in our own lives, and living in Montreal probably doesn't get you a whole lot of votes. So it's understandable, I guess, why she doesn't talk about it. Anyway, but that's it. The little story of Kamala saying Fweedom. Let me know your thoughts on it. Have an awesome day. Peace.